Happy Monday, another week and another show of the Bet Like Mike Show, WinDailySports.com. My name is Jon Jansen, of course, joined as always by the star of the show, Mike North, at North to North.
One of the stars in the show, Johnny J. Johnny J's here with everybody, ladies and gentlemen, spreading his knowledge as he always does. He had a pretty decent week. Hope everybody had a good weekend. We got some more stuff for you. Check everything out on the borders here. John Jansen, Johnny J. Yours truly, Mike North. All sorts of good things coming up. Don't forget, we are the best and the fastest 20 minutes in sports, and we will give you our picks at the 15-minute mark of what we got. To me, slim board tonight. I know we got an NBA game. We got an NHL game. Got some baseball. But when I say slim board, John, I say, hey, you know what? Is there something that's gettable? And yesterday, I did two things. I did something I don't usually do. First of all, I wanted to ask you, what do you think of proposition bets? Are you a proposition bet guy? Because I go back to the day before there was any proposition bets. You either bet the total or you bet the side. If there was no halftime bets, there was nothing. You bet the game, and then you go away for a while. They would show the scores of the NFL games every half hour. I mean, you had to call a sports phone to see what the scores were. It was so archaic, and that wasn't that long ago. So now they got these proposition bets. I can remember when it first started with the Fridge scoring a touchdown against the 49ers, or the Fridge scoring in the Super Bowl and stuff like that instead of Walter Payton. So what do you think of proposition bets, first of all?
I love prop bets. Prop bets are great, especially the NBA. They've been very profitable. NBA, can be very hit or miss at times when betting sides and even totals. So NBA props has been, I think there's a market that a lot of people found in NBA props that have been very valuable and not easy to bet on because nothing's easy, but easier to find trends and being able to find bets that cash a lot more. Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're an illogical guy like me, contrarian guy, I mean, there's some bets on the board. So I decide, okay, I'll take this bet. This can't be true. This can't be true. Bobby Portis is going to get more than 6.5 points. That's how it looks like on the surface. Right. So I take the under because it doesn't seem possible. And what does he do? He's got 8 points, and Giannis gets in foul trouble. The next thing I know, my bet's over with. That's the bad thing about proposition bets. They can be over with real quick. But to me, it just seems like you just brought it up, John. It seems more logical that those bets usually come through.
Yeah, it does. And especially if you're able to find a matchup that, a guy like a point guard. I know during the season, our guy Ghost here on the Win Daily Sports team always would take primary ball handlers against the Clippers because the Clippers just aren't good at handling guards like that. And so he would take a lot of their props and was hitting on them left and right. It's just matchups can dictate it, especially now in the playoffs. A lot of people look at Devin Booker, Chris Paul, Trae Young, the stars of all these teams, and kind of nobody is betting on somebody else like Zubats, for example.
Right.
And so he gets a little bit more value because nobody's really paying attention to his props and betting on it. You can find plenty of value all over the place.
Well, I'll tell you what. I don't know if you want to put up his scorecard from yesterday, if you have time while I'm talking and spieling. Bubba Watson. Every golf bet is a proposition bet if you're playing matchup golf. Now, yesterday was a mixed bag for me. Last week, I had John Rahm among 4 or 5 golfers, and I cashed big. This week, I didn't. But I'll tell you what saved me. The only thing that saved me from my day being a total disaster, instead of just like the Titanic brushing the iceberg at first, was Russell Henley. I took to beat Bubba Watson, even though I took Bubba Watson to win the tournament. So Watson's coasting along, kicking my ass. Henley's a +2, right?
Yeah.
Bubba Watson did the impossible. I never thought it was possible for a professional golfer to do this. Is it possible for me? Yeah, every round. If you look at his scorecard from yesterday, folks, this is what they would call, they talk about bad beats. This is a sweet win for me. He had 5 bogeys in a row. to end up +3 for the round, while Russell Henley was +2. So I win that matchup. But I would ask John this. I've been watching golf forever. I can't remember a golfer of his ilk having 5 bogeys in a row. Do you remember anything like that? And that scorecard is unbelievable. So it did save my day. But proposition bets can get you in trouble, can't they?
Yeah, they certainly can. Because as you said, it could be over quickly. So, yeah.
Bobby Portis Jr.
Right. You're relying on one player to do one specific thing. Like if you're betting rebounds, you're betting on a player to, honestly, you're betting on people to miss and this player to rebound the ball. So, yeah, props are always it could end quickly. But, again, there's so much value in some of them that, even if you lose a couple, you'll likely end up winning if you're finding the right places to. But, yeah, Watson, I would say I haven't seen an epic collapse like that, maybe in a little while. But the thing is, Bryson DeChambeau did something not as bad, but similar at the U.S. Open when he was double bogeying, triple bogeying, I think 2 or 3 straight. So DeChambeau, I would nominate for that as well.
All right, and we go on to our next subject. That was fun, but we got to go to Guerrero Jr. and Ohtani. Okay, we're talking MVP here, ladies and gentlemen. First for the American League, okay? When Guerrero, if I bet against Toronto and there's men on base, I clearly almost crap the bed when I'm betting against Toronto and Guerrero's up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ohtani is great. Don't get me wrong. I know he's on a rampage. The guy's a great pitcher. I mean, he's the first guy since Babe Ruth to put up numbers, not only offensively, but pitching-wise. But I'm going to tell you something, folks. They're both great. This could be one of the closest MVP votes of all time because I'd rather face Ohtani than Guerrero right now. And I know I had no use for Guerrero about a year or 2 ago. I said he was going to eat himself out of the league, and his nickname was going to be called Sir Eats-a-Lot, if you will. But you know what? He's come around. How do you view this race right now? I think it's between those two, John.
Yeah, and I think it is between those two for sure. I would have to give it to Ohtani, though. Vlad Guerrero's probably
no argument.
Right, and Vlad Guerrero is, I would say, probably a more fierce hitter at this point. Yeah, just incredible. But Ohtani would only win this award, and he would be in it if it was just his hitting. But the reason why he is, to me, the front runner is you have to add the pitching in because he has been electric in both of them. If he loses one, like let's say halfway through the year, and something, God forbid, happens, and he can't pitch, and he only hits for the rest of the season, I don't know if that wins him the MVP. But the fact that he's doing both, and he's doing both at an insanely high level, and the numbers back it up too. Like Shohei Ohtani is one of the better pitchers in Major League Baseball, and he's one of the best hitters in Major League Baseball. That's incredible to me. And of course, that means he's probably going to be right now the front runner, but he has to keep that up. That's the tough part. He has to keep up both. Yeah. And again, it's really tough. And, just one little thing, an injury, something like that could definitely keep him out of it.
All right, let's talk about the other one, DeGrom and whoever. But see, I'm a believer. That's why the Cy Young is in place. I've always been against an MVP being a pitcher because, okay, first of all, he doesn't win every time he pitches. I understand how great he is. I hear it every day. The New York people shove it right up our rear ends. Like I haven't seen Koufax, like I haven't seen Gibson, like I haven't seen Randy Johnson, like I haven't seen Don Drysdale, like I haven't seen Juan Marichal. I'll go all night long like Lionel Richie. So I understand. But slow down. I understand. DeGrom's great. I don't think there's anybody that's going to be close to New York. You saw what happened with Tom Thibodeau. I think there was better coaches like Snyder or the guy from Phoenix that should have won Coach of the Year. But Thibodeau got it because of New York. I think it's DeGrom. But what's your take on Cy Young? To me, is the MVP of pitching. Should a pitcher win MVP?
That's tough. Yeah, I know it's happened.
That's what I do here.
Yeah, I know it's happened before. And I would say yes, but, it would have to be, it would have to show that much value. And I guess right now you could consider Jacob deGrom that because when he is hitting, I mean, the guy is hitting close to like 500 or something ridiculous. But an ERA of under 1, if he kept that up, which that would be remarkable, and I don't think it happens. But
which could win him a Cy Young. That's it.
Which that would win him a Cy Young, but I would have to consider him MVP at that point. This guy's allowing under 1 earned run.
Who was after him? Who's the MVP of the National League after him? If he should go down or get injured,
Ronald Acuna Jr. still is up there for me. I would have to say it would be him.
Not getting it done either. Well, they're okay.
Right, they're not. He's been too good though. He's in the home run race, even though he's falling behind a little bit.
How about Tatis?
Tatis would be 2. It's between, I would say, Ronald Acuna and Fernando Tatis.
But he can't field his position. He might make 30 years at shortstop. That's brutal. I understand what he brings to the table as far as hitting the baseball. But a shortstop that makes almost 30 years, that's horrible. It's absolutely deplorable, but hopefully things balance out for him. So as far as I'm concerned, that's going to be interesting. Now, what's interesting, so the MVP thing right now, you got Ohtani, I got Guerrero. It's going to be tough. DeGrom, New York, the whole ball of wax.
It's going to be very tough.
Not winning right now, so that's it. Let's talk about Milwaukee last night. Let's talk about the NBA real quick. Another injury, Trae Young, freak injury, steps on the ref's foot. I'm not blaming the ref. Trae Young backing up, what have you, has a sprained ankle. I mean, Barkley already has said that it's going to be over. That means it should carry on. Are you pronouncing them dead on arrival? Bogdanovich ain't getting his job done, having problems also. Milwaukee seems like a well-oiled machine. And, I mean, when Middleton steals the headlines from the Greek Freak, it looks like a fait accompli, but I don't think it's over yet.
No, I wouldn't say it is over, but it's getting there. I know the injury to Trae Young certainly doesn't help. But this, I think the Bucks are certainly becoming a little bit too overwhelming for the Hawks, because with Middleton scoring 38, that was absolutely incredible. And they finally able to find a way to stop Drew Holiday, because Drew Holiday was having a tremendous series in the first 2 games. Stopped him, and then Chris Middleton destroyed you for 38 points. So it feels like no matter what the Hawks do, almost at this point defensively, that they just have not been able to find a way. Meanwhile, they, other than Trae Young, just have not found a way to find points. Kevin Huerter isn't doing it. He was 4 for 11 points. John Collins 6 for 8, 13 points, but that's just not enough from a number 2 scorer. And they're really relying on Gallinari a lot. He had close to 36 minutes, but Gallinari obviously Gallinari can't play a lick of defense. So it's just they're leaving a guy out on the floor who's a complete liability. So I think the Hawks are sort of running out of options here.
I am proud to say, as a fellow Italian-American, I'm half Irish, half Italian, about my guy Gallinari. I know they play defense in Italy for soccer, but as far as boxing's concerned, my good friend Jake LaMotta would have been the first to tell you, the best defense was our face, but we got to come after you guys. Basically, we're not known for our defense, Italian Americans. We like to go down swinging, if you will. And Gallinari is the classic example of that, John. So yeah, I mean, Atlanta, it's been a great season, no matter what. I think the thing now tonight we got the Clippers and we got the Suns. I got to be honest with you, I got nothing on this game. I mean, I tried to come up with something. I don't know if you have a pick for this game tonight. We're going to get to our pick segment, but a quick review of this. To me, the Clippers should be dead on arrival. Also, I just think that they got too many weapons on Phoenix. Ayton's been a complete and utter joy to watch. I think he's been the wild card here because Paul was hurt. But, you have Paul and you had Booker going 10 for 40. Ayton's been the guy, speaking of proposition bets, that's constantly going over. What's your take real quick? We got about a minute.
I would have to lean Suns here, but the 5.5's a lot. These have been close games. It all just comes down to, honestly, Devin Booker has not been great this series. He has to wake up. And if he does put up 30 points, like I think everybody's expecting him to this series over and over again, if he can do that, this game is over. But yeah, it'll be a close game. So the 5.5 to me is a little iffy.
Yeah, did you have? If you had to, I mean, I looked at the total. I looked at everything. I can't come up with an answer. I mean, I just can't. I mean, there's nothing like betting an NBA game. I mean, there really isn't, especially in the playoffs. But I just can't come up with anything as substantial as far as that game's concerned. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what America yearns for, what America hopes for, what America loves to indulge in. Define sport. Yes, it is a sport. Who coaches more than us at home? I was coaching my ass off yesterday. First in golf, and then in the NBA, I had Atlanta plus the 4.5. My God, I was coaching as hard as they were playing. Okay? Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. I'll start off this week. We had a pretty decent week last week. Mixed bag, I'd say. Had some really good days, a 5-1 day. We had a 1-5 day. We had some in between. That's what that's about. You're not going to win every day. I know people keep track, so keep track of us and spread the word around. Win Daily.
Yeah, there we go.
Sports. WinDailySports.com and follow us at Win Daily. I noticed our Twitter handle's up a little bit because you can't be taking our winners and not giving us something back. Give us something back. Give us something to hang on to. All right. I'll go first. I only got one game, Handsome.
One game. All right.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. I mean, it's a Monday. It's sleepy. It's a little rainy here in Chicago. But one game's all you need. Milwaukee Brewers versus the Chicago Cubs right down the street here, about 90 miles, okay? Kyle Hendricks, the professor. Well, really, he's the second one. He shouldn't be the professor because it was Mannix. Against Freddie Peralta, who's been on fire this year. Has an ERA in the twos. But Hendricks is a winner, but it's a hell of a lineup. He's not a nibbler. He's got a fastball that looks pretty good because he's got a decent change, decent curveball. I'm taking the run line at minus 160 tonight, getting the 1.5. But I'd make it, if you want to play the money line, you can do that at plus 130. 1 unit, though. 1 unit at the most. But that's the only game that I saw that's worth the damn on the board to me tonight. Johnny, over to you.
Yeah, I'm going to take I was looking at that game, too. I was looking at the under 7.5. And I think we might see that. It's been – I know the Brewers have put up a little bit of offense, but it was against the Colorado Rockies, who are not a great team on the road and not great pitching on the road. So I think the Brewers were, fooling people a little bit with their offense. So, I'll actually stick with that one because I'm talking myself into it now.
I like that one right now.
I think Peralta and Hendricks will be good. It's 7.5, I think, right now.
7.5 at minus 120, so that's a beautiful thing. Any other picks, my friend?
I'm taking the San Francisco Giants on the money line. They have one of their best pitchers on the mound, Trevor Bauer. Obviously, you see that and you go, "Oh no, that's a great pitcher." But DeSclafani has been great, 8-2 with a 2.77 ERA. But I don't know why the number continues to be this low or this high, I guess, for the Giants. They're one of the best teams, maybe if not the best team in Major League Baseball right now. Plus 155. I just don't see that. I think that's a little bit too much with both, teams having a better pitchers. So I'm taking the Giants plus 155.
It's almost like Vegas. It's almost like the handicappers don't believe in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, I took Oakland yesterday against them. Okay.
And Oakland did well.
Yeah.
And Oakland played well. Yeah.
And I had them. I did well in baseball yesterday, not well in golf or in the NBA. But I like what Oakland did. Is San Francisco doing it with mirrors? I think is LA playing. I think we could all say they're underachieving right now, no matter what they do. They got $1 million lineup. They just were no hit by Zach Davies. You know what we never asked? Why was he pulled?
No idea.
Why was he pulled?
Yeah.
Even Chicago didn't even ask this. I'm looking and I go, B, I just thought of something. They had a combination of, I tell my wife, they had a combination of pitchers. I don't know what happened to Zach Davies. Don't you go for the no-hitter?
Yeah. I think you go for it until either he lets up that hit or he's completely telling you, like, I don't have anything left. I mean, if unless that happens, you got to keep him out.
You're not saying he pulled himself out of a no-hitter, though.
No, I don't think he did. No, but that's the only two circumstances you would ever pull out somebody. To just pull him out because you want to go to the bullpen or think that he's done. I always like giving him a chance. I really do.
By the way, if you want to take the Clippers, enter at your own risk. The handsome and affable Sion Nejad has come out and said, "Give me the Suns."
Give me the Suns. I know one last baseball bet.
When was the last time anybody before this year ever said, believe me, I go back to the days of Elvin Adams, give me the Suns. Yeah. I go back to Elvin Adams. I remember when it was an expansion team. I know my buddy Jerry Colangelo, who owned them. I mean, my God, the Van Arsdale twins, Elvin Adams. When was the last time anybody ever said, give me the Suns? Give me the Suns. Oh, my God. Well, I'll tell you what. Anything else, or is that about it, my friend?
I'll do one more real quick. I'll take a team total over 5.5 on the Reds. Phillies, a pitcher who barely go over 3 innings. That means a lot of bullpen for the Phillies and bad bullpen for the Phillies. So I like the Reds.
God bless you. God bless all of you. We'll be back tomorrow for the fastest 20 minutes in sports and most accurate. Goodbye.